for UVA. The record might not accurately reflect the direction in which Coach Mox has this program going. But we'll talk about that a little bit more as Clemson controls the tip, and we are underway. It is Dayshanette Harris, the point guard for the Tigers, with the ball.
Day Harris, another leader for this team, who's also been putting up some good numbers as of late. She does a lot for them and keeps them organized. But this Clemson team has struggled with turnovers all season, so not a good look to have a turnover in their first possession.
Yeah, they average 17 turnovers per game as you get a look at the starting five for UVA. Injuries have been an issue. They will not have Cameron Taylor today. They've been also dealing with an injury to Olivia McGee, who does not start this game, but might be available off the bench as Kamora Johnson misses the first shot, and an offensive rebound, second chance coming for the Hoos. Brunelle looking inside. That's London Clarkson. Nice post move. Can't finish with the left.
Yeah, it was a great move. Just needed to take her time and gather and finish.
Ruby Whitehorn, head of steam, but that's steps. And already 2 possessions, 2 turnovers for Clemson.
Clemson picking up full court, which is something you'll see them do a lot of in this 1-2-2 pressure. A Virginia team that likes to play fast, kind of gets them. As you see, Sam Brunelle hits a 3, and Virginia is better when she is knocking down her shot. So definitely they got to like that look for her out of that press break.
No doubt. She came up big in the upset win over North Carolina, hit 4 threes in the win, 14 points and 7 rebounds. Struggled against Virginia Tech, though, on Thursday. So good to see her get her shot going early. A little up and under there, creative move from Amari Robinson. Leading scorer for this team. She's putting up 17 a game.
She is, and in their last game against BC, she only played, I think, 16 minutes. She had dealt with some foul trouble, so definitely going to get her going early in this game.
Amari Robinson has kind of been the heart and soul of this team, really the program over the last 4 to 5 seasons. They've had to kind of build their practice schedule around her graduate school work because she is working to become a teacher. So they have to practice really early in the morning. Some days it's late, and that's another turnover for Clemson as the first substitute of the game will check in for the Cavaliers. Will be Odessa Noyan. You see head coach Amanda Butler, 5th season at Clemson, continuing to try and build this program up. Remember, Coach Butler won the ACC Coach of the Year back in 2018 and 19, but that was the last time that Clemson really was able to find success in the ACC. What a look there from Brunelle to find the cutting Noyan. Her first points of the game fresh off the bench.
Brunelle is really a key piece for them. She's so versatile. She can do a lot of different things, and that's a great look and a great finish. Kamora Johnson finds Sam Brunelle at the high post, and she just finds her teammates slashing down the lane. Clemson, I would expect to talk about that and, you know, not just let teams cut in front of them uncontested without any contact.
Ball taken out underneath. It was the first foul on Kamora Johnson for Virginia. Clemson needs it. In and out. That was halfway down for Dayshanette Harris. And UVA on the move. That's Jillian Brown. Transition 3. Brunelle. Oh, almost had it, and this place would have lost its top.
It was halfway down. Clemson's going to need to find her in transition and not give her that open of a look.
Sam Brunelle shooting at 33% from beyond the arc this year, and a trap coming. Harris able to get rid of it. Over to Mackenzie Kramer, another good three-point shooter, but that won't fall. Tip back out, and it's a 2-on-2. Johnson with the move in the paint. To the wing, Paris Clark, short on the 3, but Johnson gets it right back, and a fresh 20 on the shot clock.
Amari Robinson tipped that out, but a team like Virginia that's very good in transition, if she can't get that, either slap it out of bounds or just get back.
Clark on the drive, tried to hand it off to Noyan. It will be out of bounds, and Virginia basketball. Well, you can kind of sense just where the program is at sometimes by what the crowd looks like. And Coach Mox has got this thing humming, and it might not look like it from a 2-8 ACC record, but the signs are there as Johnson fires away, and Ruby Whitehorn with the rebound. But I mean, UVA's won multiple games against ranked opponents this year for the first time since 2016-2017. Game
is off to a very fast pace. You know, Clemson with these turnovers, they're not forced. It's just them really needing to value the basketball and take care of each possession.
Good handoff there. Harris, a strong finish. And she'll go to the line for an and one opportunity. The transfer from Pitt has been a huge help offensively for Clemson this year.
I love that take and decision by Day Harris to get something going to the rim, a nice strong take, a great finish. She's great at getting to the free throw line for them, and just an opportunity to convert here and get some more points on the board.
Played 4 years at Pitt, had 12 points and 4 rebounds in the win over Boston College on Thursday. 5-5 is our score, just getting underway here as Johnson lets it go again, and it falls. Well, Kamora Johnson has been one of the bright spots for UVA this season, one of the best freshmen in the conference. She is second amongst all freshmen in the ACC in scoring.
And she has the ability to really light it up from outside. She was a McDonald's All-American, won the three-point contest, so that's a big part of her game.
Harris stood up by Brunelle. Clark back the other way. A quick left-handed layup won't go. This has been a fast-paced game.
It really has, and I love the hustle by Clark to try to get back. Probably a wild shot that you might want to take back, but she hustled, ended up getting a rebound, and now she's leading the break.
Johnson looking underneath and couldn't connect with Nguyen. Just on a bit of a different page there. Maddie Ott looking to check in for Clemson here. Looks like Alexia Smith will also come into the game. Got some fresh legs. Eno Inyang. Some hockey line substitutions for both sides. Frenetic pace this game has gotten out to.
Yeah, some kind of, not necessarily forced shots, but some wild shots, out of system, quick shots, coupled with the turnovers. Good time to see what some of the players from the bench have to offer and get them involved in this game.
Does the pace, in your mind, favor one team over another, or not necessarily?
I don't think it favors either team necessarily. UVA is great in transition, but so is Clemson. They like to get stops and turn that into offense.
Kramer well defended by Johnson, hand in her face, off the back iron, and Nguyen reels it in. Johnson will slow it down in the half court, try and set up a play. Kamora Johnson averaging 23 points per game over her last 5. Alexia Smith penetrating. Kick out. Pauly for 3. Too strong. Out of bounds, and it will be UVA basketball. The Who's out to an early 8-5 lead, and Kamora Johnson has led this team, only a freshman. And that shot looks sweet. Early lead for the Who's.
In many different ways. My mother had Lee-Fermini syndrome, which basically means that her body didn't protect against cancer. And she was dealing with cancer her whole life since she was 2 years old. You know, me and my mom, we definitely were just best friends, and we were very tight. And you know, when she passed away in October of 2021, it was really, really hard. She always gave me like the best advice, and we were very affectionate and always cuddled and watched movies, drink tea, get coffee, all those little things. And those are just kind of the things that I miss. She was definitely my best friend, just as much as she was my mom, and I loved her a lot. Just knowing that there are people who are in my position who have dealt with the same things, it's just very empowering, and knowing that you're not alone.
Well, knowing Cam Taylor's story, it makes it really difficult not to root for her. I mean, she is just an incredible person, an incredible basketball player, unavailable today, dealing with an injury right now, a knee injury she sustained against Pitt. But obviously, as she said in that little piece there, lost her mother 43 years. She'd been battling cancer. And actually, Cam had stepped away from the game of basketball entirely after her mom's passing to obviously grieve and give that the right amount of time. But I can't imagine the amount of emotions that she feels here today with her team now leading.
Of course, there's so many emotions attached to it, especially just hope she knows how proud her mom has to be of her, and everything that she is for this UVA program is instilled from her mom, and she's just doing a great job of being a leader for them in the community and on the court. And yeah, like you said, so many emotions about the bigger picture of what the magnitude of these games mean.
And Cam Taylor has said, too, as Amari Robinson launches a three, gets her own rebound. Cam Taylor has said that she is going to be intentional whenever she is on the basketball court about honoring her mom by doing everything out of love and being a hard worker. That was a quote from Cam Taylor. And no doubt, a lot of emotions on the bench today for Taylor. 9-10, Clemson comes back within one. It has been a fast-paced game, not a lot of whistles. Desanoyan gets her own miss, loses it under the basket, and Dayshanette Harris back the other way. Harris looking to go coast to coast, and her second and one opportunity is coming up.
I love that decision. She's found success right now, settled into the game a little bit. Dayshanette Harris showing that she can get to the basket and score with the contact.
Dayshanette Harris, 7 points, 7 of the 11 so far for the Tigers. 3 for 4 from the floor. Also paired in 2 assists. Second foul on Kamora Johnson as well. That is of note. And Harris converts the and one opportunity. So the Tigers now jump in front, 12-10. Things have slowed down a little bit in the half court. That might help them.
Yeah, it has. And, you know, Clemson with this zone defense, it's a matchup. It's, you know, hard to anticipate where your options are going to be. So with Kamora Johnson on the bench, UVA is definitely going to need some leadership and patience in finding the right shots.
Pauly, nice fake, dribble drive. And Owenyang with the rejection. It's a 6'2" junior out of St. Cloud, Florida. And it's taken away. Harris tried to look up the floor. She got fouled by London Clarkson.
Day Harris really showing her impact on this floor on both sides of the ball. That's what she does for the Tigers. She is their veteran leader and makes great plays for them. There you see her with just the heads-up play, stealing the pass for the corner three. She's drawn quite a few fouls today.
Clemson shooting at 50% from the field here in the first quarter. 5 for 10 as we hit the 2-minute mark. Day Harris leading all scorers with 8. Gets the handoff. Somehow is able to keep it as Alexia Smith. Fans calling for a travel here. That's 3 in the key. All right, so interesting. 3-second violation called. Fans would have liked to see it travel, but nonetheless, UVA gets the basketball.
And you see Clemson going back to what works. You know, they had a chance there to maybe get Ruby Whitehorn involved, but, you know, Dayshanette Harris understanding that she has the hot hand right now, but Virginia being heads up and closing her up on the lane line.
That's Olivia McGee's first attempt from the field. She rolled her ankle Thursday night in the game against Virginia Tech, did not return. Came off the bench here this afternoon. We'll see what she can provide. Talented freshman out of Virginia.
She can definitely provide some points, that's for sure. McGee has a smooth game.
Robinson with 5 on the shot clock. That's too strong, and Smith elevates for the rebound.
It's a good defensive possession for the Cavaliers.
Paris Clark. Oh, and the basket. The transfer from Arizona.
I love that about Clark. She is so wiry and long and great at getting down lane lines. That's a nice, strong attack down the middle, and she finishes, gets a chance for the and one at the free throw line.
Paris Clark putting up almost 10 points per game. One of the better three-point shooters on the team as well. Fight for the rebound there between Clarkson and Enyang. It will be Tigers basketball. All knotted at 12 here, under a minute to go in the first quarter in this Play for K game inside John Paul Jones Arena. Backdoor cut from Robinson opens it up for Harris.
Virginia getting very aggressive defensively, extending out their pressure, trying to speed Clemson up.
Harris hit on the way up. Oh, are you kidding me? Dayshanette Harris cannot be stopped here in the first quarter. She's got 10 points and going to the line for the third and one opportunity.
Smith goes under the ball screen and tries to meet her at the lane line, but she just pulls up and hits her on the arm. And I believe that this momentum that you see Harris have, it starts from her aggressiveness, getting downhill and putting pressure on Virginia's defense in the paint. And then it opens things up outside of that.
This is an experienced Clemson team. Dayshanette Harris is one of 4 1,000-point scorers for the Tigers, and she gets her own miss.
She's everywhere.
She is literally everywhere. Just about 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. This has been the Dayshanette Harris quarter. And a foul off the ball. Looks like it's going to stay here, though.
And that's what you don't want to see if you're Virginia. You already have 5 fouls. You know that any foul you commit at that moment, you're going to put Clemson on the line to get some points at the free throw line.
Foul goes against Alexia Smith, her second. It's Amani Freeman going to the stripe. Harris will check out, and a well-deserved rest for what has been one of the better first quarters that she's played this year. Freeman misses the first. All right, Thursday we'll have full slate starting with ACC PM at 4. Then we got a doubleheader for women's basketball with featured matchup of at 8, number 17 Virginia Tech, number 5 NC State, followed by nothing but net. That's the coverage you can only find one place, right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. 7 seconds to go. Paris Clark on the drive again. And a strong finish for Paris Clark. She's heading the line once again.
As I said earlier, Clark down lane lines is a problem. I love the decision to go back to her for the last shot. And, you know, the defense, Clemson's defense just doesn't slide over in time, and they pick up another foul. But she is a tough guard.
What is that, the 5th and 1 of this first quarter?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a lot.
Yeah, big guard showing what big guards can do. Finish with the contact.
Paris Clark, 9 games with 10 or more points, including 2 straight. Misses the front there. Harris looking for space and couldn't get the shot off in rhythm. But Dayshanette Harris, the story of the first quarter here. 15-14 after the first break. Harris with 10 points leading all scorers. Disparity there, 10 points for Harris, 5 for the rest of the team. Amari Robinson, the leading scorer, who averages 17 a game for Clemson, has 4.
For them to have a 1-point lead with her only having 4 points, they gotta like that. At some point, she's gonna get hot and get involved in this game as well.
Kamora Johnson, leading scorer for UVA, has 5 points. The Clark on another take, and a whistle going the other way. Foul against London Clarkson for the Hoos.
I'd like to see Virginia limit their fouls in this quarter. They fouled a lot in the first and ended up putting Clemson in the bonus to end the game. But just knowing when's a good time to go for it and when's a good time to let it go.
First foul on Clarkson.
Ruby Whitehorn is a great scorer for this team. The young sophomore hasn't quite gotten going yet in this game. As you see another turnover by Clemson. That's also something to note, is once the game settled in and Clemson stopped turning the ball over, then you saw them kind of get a rhythm on the offensive end.
7th turnover of the game for Clemson, who again averages about 17 a game. Clark. Again on the drive. Whitehorn affected the shot. Looking for the outlet. Clark got a hand in there. And Harris takes control. Now Harris, bounce pass to Robinson. That is what Dayshanette Harris provides.
She really does, and she's going 100 miles an hour, but you saw how she avoided that charge. I love it.
All right, Coach Mox wants time to talk things over as the Tigers extend the lead to 3.
Whose bag is this?
Such an amazing person, a servant leader, the epitome of Kay Yow's legacy. She had such a tremendous influence on our community during her tough battle with breast cancer, and it's just an unfortunate loss for our community, but further highlights the significance and the responsibility that we all have to do our part in raising awareness for all cancers affecting women.
No doubt, perfectly said, Jazz. And a reminder, you can support the Kay Yow Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Donate today at kyow.com. That is kyow.com. 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, and Play for Kay has been a tremendous national grassroots movement and is directly in the vision of Coach Kay Yow. And you know, for Coach Kay Yow, it was pretty simple. Unite women's basketball in the fight against all cancers affecting women, all being the operative word. There are just so many out there, and there are people in the building today who are fighting and battling cancer. I'm sure there are many of you at home who are fighting and battling cancer, and of course the Kay Yow Cancer Fund will be there for everybody. Dayshanette Harris with the layup on the other end off the steal.
You know, since those early threes that Virginia hit, they're searching for some continuity and fluidity in their offense. And that's credit to Clemson's defense, disrupting and slowing them down.
Johnson, shot won't fall. Kamora Johnson and really UVA have gotten off to a slow start here in the second quarter. They have not scored. They have missed their last 4 shots, and that one rattles home.
Amari Robinson is so versatile. She's able to score all over the floor, and she's such a force down low that you forget that she can knock down threes at a high clip.
That's the 4th assist as well for Dayshanette Harris, who had an uncharacteristic 9 turnovers against Boston College. It was a season high. Foul going against Harris there, up tight against Johnson. That's her first. Looks like Caden Lawson will come in for the Hoos, as will Olivia McGee. For Brown and Clark, they will head to the bench. How does UVA get Kamora Johnson more involved in the offense here?
Moving her, you know, she's kind of just going side to side at the top of the key, getting her to kind of cut through the offense, cut through the defense, get the zone to shift. She's going to garner a lot of attention. It'll open up some other things.
Johnson, again, the team's leading scorer for the Hoos, 14 points a game. That's a reach in there on McGee.
And that's a bit of a know your personnel foul. Dayshanette Harris has had success getting down that right lane line. So, you know, McGee is a stronger, taller defender, but maybe give her a little step and play her to that right hand.
Dayshanette Harris has, you know, shown her versatility in this game, but she showed it early on, too. She had Clemson's first 10-point, 10-assist double-double earlier this season against Charleston Southern. It was the first such double-double since 2007 for the program. Robinson, nice feed. Michaela Elmore misses the point-blank shot, though. Clarkson falls to the floor.
Elmore's going to need to finish that. Elmore, that was a great offensive execution.
McGee, second chance opportunity. This is one of the best rebounding teams in the entire country, Virginia is. Lawson will let it fly and hit. Caden Lawson with a 3, and that ends a 7-0 run over the last 4 minutes.
And that's a big shot. You can tell by the energy in this building that that was just an easy shot to see go through the basket is exactly what Virginia needed.
Lawson, one of those veteran players off the bench. Harris fading away from the basket, no good. That was good defense that time by Johnson. 3 substitutions coming in for Coach Amanda Butler and Clemson. It's a Clemson team that got off to a tough start in conference play. They won their first game against a very impressive Duke team, but then they went on to lose the next 7 straight ACC games. Now, you got to take that with a grain of salt, though, Jazz, because 5 of those 7 were against ranked opponents. 6 if you include Syracuse, who is now ranked. So
And most of them not by huge margins. You
Right.
know, you got your occasional maybe blowout here or there, but for the most part, they're a great team. As you see Maddie Ott knock down the three-pointer, which she is definitely capable of doing. Most of her shot attempts are threes, and that's a big one right there.
Just the second made three of the game. Clemson now 2 for 7 from beyond the arc, but they build up the lead to 8. McGee, tough pass. It was almost intercepted by Whitehorn.
And Virginia getting stuck outside of the three-point line, just passing it around. But here you see Dayshanette Harris. She gets stuck, but she finds Maddie Ott on the opposite wing, who just drains the three.
I got to imagine, if you're a shooter, you got to love a player like Dayshanette Harris, who attracts so much attention.
Oh, absolutely. I love how she's able to get in the paint and just spray the ball.
Clarkson, hand in the face. Loose ball here, goes out of bounds. Nobody went to the basketball there. It will be Clemson's ball.
You know, something that Paris Clark, who's on the bench right now, was doing for Virginia that's not happening now was she was getting into the paint. They were able to, you know, get her the ball on the move, get her downhill, and her to get into the seams of that Clemson defense. But right now, they are just stuck passing it around the perimeter.
Yeah, Virginia 1 for 7 from the floor here in the second quarter. Just 3 points here in this period for the Hoos. They're being outscored 10-3. Under 5 to play. Underneath, Freeman blocked from behind. Sam Brunelle trying to fire up the crowd here.
And I love that recovery. Just a heads-up play. You know, I feel like Clemson could have went up a little faster with it, but that's a great block from behind by Sam Brunelle.
Freeman immediately double-teamed, and she travels.
And that's in the game plan. You know, Virginia wants to pressure and force a high turnover team to turn the ball over. And so far, they've had some success in areas.
And the question now becomes, how do they convert on the other end here?
I think play fast. If they can get live ball turnovers, do what their bread and butter is, get out in transition. They have a bunch of great guards that are able to get going.
And Brunelle has taken over the last 30 seconds of this game. The block and the three.
And the other thing is feed Sam Brunelle on that three-point line.
When Sam Brunelle's feeling it, she's feeling it. We mentioned the 4 threes she hit in the upset win over North Carolina. Went cold against Virginia Tech, but has made 2 here in this game.
And it's hard to play at Castle, so that's a tough place to shoot. But here in this gym, she knocks him down.
Maddie Ott off the heel. Lawson will slow it up as it was 1-on-3.
And I would also not slow it up as much. Just because they don't have a layup in transition doesn't mean they can't bring the ball to the side and get into some kind of drag action and screen that zone while Clemson's still not matched up.
Virginia's cut the lead to 5. Johnson driving past Ott, and one opportunity coming for the freshman. Out of Charlottesville, Virginia, a hometown kid decided to stay home.
Little in and out, got down a lane line, but saw the help defense come over, so pulls up short, but still able to draw the foul and hit the bucket.
7 points now for Kamora Johnson. Went to St. Anne's Belfield High School. Was just named the National Freshman of the Week a few weeks ago for what she did against Notre Dame and Florida State. Converts the three-point play, and just like that, Virginia on a little 6-0 run. And you hear the crowd come alive inside JPJ. Harris lost the handle for a moment. Shot clock down to 6. Harris on the drive. Got fouled, just couldn't convert with the contact, so she will go to the line to shoot 2.
But that's a great decision. She recognizes that she has a defender on her that she can go by, and she draws the contact, doesn't get the finish, but is able to get some free throws.
You know, at some point, you got to imagine Coach Mox would be like, maybe we can't let Dayshanette Harris go right. I mean, she's gone right almost every single time here. All right, here's Wednesday night's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader. Louisville and Syracuse start us off at 7 Eastern time. Kyle Filipowski, number 7, Duke, hosting Notre Dame at Cameron Indoor, trying to recover from the game last night. North Carolina ran Duke off the floor inside the Dean Dome yesterday. Johnson with the floater.
And I would love to see Virginia keep doing more of that, whether it's in the middle or on the side, getting the ball in her hands, getting her in some ball screen actions.
Clemson led by 8 at one point. It's down to 1. Elmore turns it over. Brunelle got a hand in the passing lane there. Caden Lawson clears it. 10th turnover of the game for Clemson here in the first half.
And I still think that's great defense by Virginia, forcing Elmore to be the decision maker and getting the ball out of some other people's hands.
Whitehorn commits the foul there.
Yeah, it's a great find by Kramer, but Elmore just picks her dribble up and isn't quite sure what she wants to do, so she throws it blindly and leads to another turnover.
Last touch by Johnson. I think Harris touched it right into the hand of Kamora Johnson there. It's the 5th turnover for UVA.
And we've seen a few of those kind of cross-court long passes against Clemson's pressure that have led to turnovers or just really disrupted their offense.
Harris, the ball finds Whitehorn there.
Right place, right time.
That was the first made field goal in the last 3.5 minutes for Clemson.
And Whitehorn's first basket of the game. She's coming off of a, high-scoring game. Maybe a chance for her to get going a little bit.
Yeah, Whitehorn had 19 points in the win over Boston College with 8 rebounds as well. And that's a reach-in on Dayshanette Harris again, who was trying to go right on Lawson. How do you do that, though, Jazz? This might be a silly question, but we watch shoot-arounds, we watch practices all the time, and you hear coaches say, well, we can't let this player go right, or we can't let her go left. I mean, is that actually feasible to do in a game for a defender?
It is. You're not going to 100% be able to shut her out from using her right hand, but that's knowing what is the distance that you need to give, as you see Amari Robinson with a great left-hand take down a lane line from the high post. But what is the space that you need to give Harris in order to stay in front of her? That's the nature of this defense right now. Stay in front of her.
Johnson off the mark there. Back to a 5-point lead, and the Tigers have the ball. And they won't be in a rush here with a minute left to play in the half.
And you see that Virginia just keeps going under things with Harris. But if they would get into her and maybe ice or look to not let her go right at all. And another great block from Sam Brunelle.
Her second of the quarter here.
Yeah, she's really found her way from sneaking from behind. I see what you're doing there, Sam, and it's working.
Well, Sam Brunelle, just a matter of weeks after Coach Mox was announced as the head coach, Brunelle announced her commitment. Elmore offensive rebound and the putback. Lead back up to 7.
And that is what Michaela Elmore does for this Clemson team. She's a tremendous rebounder, and that's a great offensive rebound and putback at a great time.
Elmore actually the second leading rebounder on this team. A teardrop will fall for Johnson. A soft touch from the freshman. 12 points for Kamora Johnson here in the first half.
I think if you're Clemson, you keep the ball in Harris's hands right now, get her driving. They're in the bonus. They'll be able to shoot again or get a bucket by her.
Guarded by Jillian Brown this time on the wing. Into Kramer's hands. Top of the key. Kramer got to go here. Tough shot. Oh, did she get fouled on the way up? She did. 2 shots coming for Mackenzie Kramer. Coach Mox doesn't love it.
It's a tough break. That's the 3rd foul on a key player, Kamora Johnson for Virginia. But, that's a classic don't foul the jump shooter.
Oh, I don't know there, Jazz. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I think that's a tough call for a ref, depending on the angle that they're at. So you kind of just want to make sure you stay in front and get that contest from being directly in front of the player and not on the side.
I think the biggest thing there was Johnson picking up the third foul, as you said. It's kind of been the spark plug offensively for UVA this season. Looks like she'll stay on the floor here. Kramer missed the first and hits the second. Johnson will check out for Paris Clark here. So we'll see what the second half brings for Johnson, the leading scorer for the Hoos. And there you see leading scorers, Robinson and Harris both in double figures, and Johnson the only player in double figures for Virginia. Clark's shot at the buzzer, no good.
In that first half, but she really got going in the second quarter.
So the third quarter underway as Mackenzie Kramer's first shot will fall. And Clemson extends the lead back to 8. That is the largest lead of the game.
Mackenzie Kramer, a player that asked for a bigger role, that's really stepped up for this Clemson team, and the loss of Maddie Clues, who is out with injury, not really sure what her timeline is, but Kramer's been playing well.
London Clarkson with the answer on the other end. Virginia shot it around 34% in the first half. Meanwhile, Clemson shot at 52%, and that was one of the bigger differences, was just the makes.
In the selection, you know, I would say that Clemson shot it fewer times because they were more intentional about where they were getting their offense from.
Robinson slips to the basket, but there is Brunelle with her third block of the game.
Yeah, and Sam Brunelle has done a great job at protecting the rim for Virginia today.
Brown in the open floor, but an offensive foul is called. That will go against Jillian Brown.
And a great heads-up play by Day Harris. We mentioned it in the first half. It just seems like she's everywhere. She does a little bit of everything right when they need it.
Jillian Brown's first foul of the game. Harris has Whitehorn wide open, and Whitehorn converts with the left.
And I don't like that decision by Sam Brunelle to come up and try to either get that steal or, you know, even take that risk, knowing that she's not as quick of a defender to stay in front.
And also to think that Clemson has built up this big of a lead with only 4 points from Ruby Whitehorn, but there is Kamora Johnson with the finish.
And as we said, Johnson got going in the second quarter with a lot of this, putting the ball on the floor and putting pressure on Clemson's defense to stay in front of her without fouling. And I think that's credit to her as a young player, realizing how the refs are calling this game. There's a ton of and ones in this game, so that's right. Be aggressive, put your head down, get something going toward the rim.
I mentioned Kamora Johnson from Charlottesville, Virginia. Now decided that she was going to stay home and try to build something special here. Back to what UVA had built under the likes of Debbie Ryan.
I love a Virginia native. BA all day.
And Coach Mox has done a good job of that, trying to keep homegrown talent here. Clarkson fighting for the rebound. It ends in the hands of Harris.
And while Day Harris is very capable of making threes, I like that decision by Virginia, that adjustment. Force her to beat you from the outside.
Foul underneath the basket. And it looks like London Clarkson's going to get whistled for it.
Amari Robinson's just so good with her activity. You know, she never stops moving, never stops repositioning, and it makes it hard for the defense to know where the ball is coming to her from.
Nia Valentine checks in for Harris. Harris looks like she's in some pain over there on the bench right now. Whitehorn, tough shot. Robinson followed on the floor, fouled on the floor. That's going against Jillian Brown now. Harris going to the end of the bench here, too. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I'm watching it, too.
Two shots for Robinson, and she makes the first. Our next All Access, the ACC Life, is a very special one and premieres tomorrow night. ACC student athletes and administrators from all 15 institutions in the conference traveled to Washington, D.C. in July last year on the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington to experience and learn more about racial and gender equity. Dalenkov hosts this special All Access at 7 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Robinson 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Clarkson can't answer on the other end, and Elmore clears it with a rebound.
I like that attack, though. Attacking the high post of that zone defense and trying to get something from around there.
Valentine drops in the 3, and everything's clicking for Clemson here. The lead up to 10. It's the largest of the game. And Coach Mox wants time to talk it over. But it is all Clemson here inside JPJ right now. Welcome back. It was another quick timeout for Coach Mox and UVA. Down 10 now. And, you know, we've been really impressed with UVA and their ability to rebound the basketball. They're 44 rebounds a game. That's 10th in Division I. But today, Clemson has controlled the glass, and that is one of the big reasons why they have built up such a big lead, Jazz.
Yeah, for sure. They're out-rebounding Virginia 27-13 right now. And they're also outscoring them in the paint, 20-10. So that right there is showing you where that deficit is coming from.
Clemson has also taken much better care of the basketball here. They haven't turned it over yet in the third quarter. They had 10 in the first half. Harris Clark down the lane again, trying to spin on Valentine, back out to Brunelle. Looking for help, backdoor cut. Johnson right down the gut and lays it in for 2.
And you know, Kamora Johnson, a great shooter from outside, has found success today putting the ball on the floor and just putting pressure on the defense. He's done a great job.
Kamora Johnson responsible for half of UVA's points.
And that's another part of it as well. We talk about how they find themselves in a deficit. They need some, you know, contributions from some other people.
Moving screen called on Robinson. Amari Robinson with 2 fouls now.
Here you see the pressure by Amari Robinson. Kamora Johnson just beats it, gets down the lane line, and finishes over the bigger defender.
Kamora Johnson was a huge reason why UVA came away with the win in Tallahassee. Had a career-high 35-point performance there. That was tied for 6th most points in a game in program history. It was the 2nd most points in a game by a freshman in school history as well. That was a big win for this team as Clark puts on a defensive clinic. Now on the offensive side, Johnson gets a free throw line jumper to fall. Here come the Who's.
And that's what we talked about. Virginia turning their defense and the offense, whether that's contesting shots, getting rebounds, and getting out and running. Coach Mox mentioned that Paris Clark is a key defender for their team because of her length. And you see her get a great stop, and it leads to a bucket for Kamora Johnson.
Ruby Whitehorn only 4 points today. Misses that shot, but the follow is there for Michaela Elmore. That's her 2nd offensive rebound putback of the game. Johnson will spot up from 3. Way too strong. But she deflects the pass out of bounds. Well, that stopped a breakaway.
It did. And while that 3 was off the mark, that was a little bit of a lapse of communication and coverage by Clemson. She did have a window, a gap to take that. She probably could have took her time and really lined it up to knock it down. But I love the hustle from the freshman to try to get the ball back on the other end.
Virginia not really known for being a 3-point shooting team this year. They're shooting at just about 30% as a team. That's 11th in the conference. This is kind of an old school Clemson basketball team. Virginia team too. They play old school basketball.
Yeah, and you mentioned Clemson not turning it over as much. With an experienced team like them, if they value possessions like that, they play such good basketball and they're able to get good looks. And they got to keep doing that.
Whitehorn with the shot clock winding down, and Paris commits the foul. Paris Clark whistled for it. They'll step aside. 44-36 is the score here inside John Paul Jones Arena.
when you have a history of greatness.
Mine and my family's, and this is to honor my mother, Chinwe Otowe-Agugwa. She was 58 when she passed away. Tremendous woman. She's my hero. She's my mentor. She's my inspiration still to this day. But she was a surgeon by profession. And I always say she saved lives doing work, but she saved even more lives doing God's work. When I was going through so much adversity in college, like with knee surgeries, I've had 6 knee surgeries and things like that. I mean, it was so much easier to fight through that because I watched my mother's fight. She did everything with a smile on her face. She put people first. She was giving, caring, loving, hard worker, persevered through so much adversity, and that's why she'll always be my inspiration.
Well, Coach Mox was kind enough to share some of those stories with us, Jazz, when we were talking to her pregame today in the shoot-around. And one of the messages that she wanted her team to understand prior to this game was that this game means a lot more than just the game. I mean, there are people impacted by cancer every single day in this country. And she said that she wanted her team to go out and play with joy. Sam Brunelle knocking down the 3, brings some joy into this crowd of fans who are struggling with cancer, some who are battling cancer currently. And it's just a great message.
It is, and it's bigger than basketball. And, you know, something stood out to me, a fighter. You know, that is like the key word, and I feel like that's exactly what Coach Mox instills into this Virginia team. They have fought back from so many, you know, deficits this season. You got injuries here and there, all this adversity, and they still find themselves here in a 5-point game.
A reminder that you can support the KYOW Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation for cancer research. Donate at kyow.com. So Sam Brunelle's 3 on the other end out of the timeout. Injected some life into this arena. And there's Dayshanette Harris once again on the dribble drive to the right. And we'll go to the line to shoot 2. That's the 3rd foul on Paris Clark.
Yeah, Dayshanette Harris is really tough when she can get going to her right hand. She's a physical guard, strong guard. She can take the contact. We've seen her make a few and-ones today. Didn't get that one to fall, but Virginia's had a problem keeping her from going right.
They're going to have to get the ice going here for Dayshanette Harris. I mean, she has been on the floor a lot today, and we saw her, you know, kind of hampered on the sidelines earlier, but now shaking out that right hand after she made contact with the hardwood.
I always think it's a funny bone when you see that. Yeah, that's a, oh, that feeling is irritating.
You love that feeling?
No, it's irritating.
Okay. Yeah, it is. And Dayshanette Harris now with 15 points, leading her team. Amari Robinson's got 13. Kamora Johnson at 19 points has the ball now.
I think it might be fair to put Harris on a triple-double watch with the whole quarter left to play.
That's blocked by Elmore. Yeah, Harris 15 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Harris again, one-on-one. Clark. Oh, my goodness. That was halfway down, and a hard foul. Harris helped to her feet by her teammates, but slowly.
And, you know, we say, how is it possible? Yeah, that's a tough fall. She did hit her head on the floor. Ooh. But it's good to see her up, walking around, shaking it off, taking her time. That's right. Take your time, get to that line. I hope she's all right.
I mean, she got her legs taken out from under her and still almost put the ball in the basket.
And we talk about, like, I know earlier you asked me, like, is it easy or is it hard to really just take away a hand from a player? But I think the things that you have to pay attention to is her change of pace, where her eyes are. She's looking things off. She's standing her defender up. She's keeping them guessing. They don't know when she's going to explode to her right, and that's how she's continuing to get to it.
A reminder, again, Harris turned the ball over 9 times against Boston College. She has 2 turnovers today. Taking much better care of the basketball. Brunelle hands it off to Clark. Johnson tries to find Nguyen underneath, and Nguyen finishes.
I love that. A little bit of a sloppy play, but the right looks, and great job by Nguyen to gather that and go up with it and finish it. I think that horns action could be really good for them to go to some more of, whether it's a man or a zone.
No field goals for the Tigers in the last 3.5. Kramer trying to end it, and she does. Mackenzie Kramer, the transfer from Lehigh, brings her three-point shot with her. She has already made 43 in the season.
Harris just draws so much attention when she gets to the paint. The whole defense collapses, and she does have a shooter out there that she can pass to, if not two of them, because Amari Robinson can also hit it.
Johnson misses the off-balance shot, but collects her own rebound. Now it's Smith to Brunelle for three. Off to the right, and another battle for the board. It's Clark this time. Has it rejected. Back out, wide open three. Brunelle, and it's good! Sam Brunelle has made 4 threes in this game.
And that is a huge credit to Paris Clark for being active on the boards. It's something we highlighted that Virginia needs to do better at. As you see Dayshanette Harris draw another foul on the Virginia defense.
Starting to hear it from the crowd here, but this was the three before the foul.
The sophomore Paris Clark battling down low for the rebound, finds a hot Sam Brunelle for another three-pointer.
12 points for Brunelle in this one. She is 4 for 6 from beyond the arc.
And I love that she took it. She took one before that, she missed it. She easily could have hesitated on that, but I love that she still went up with it and knocked it down.
Dayshanette Harris, a 67% free throw shooter, has pinned to the line an awful lot here in this game. Now 8 for 11 from the free throw line. Oh, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, part of our ACC PM. Full coverage, full slate. Starting with ACC PM at 4, then the doubleheader. 17, Virginia Tech, number 5, NC State, followed by nothing but net. That's coverage you can only find right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app. Another foul on the other end and more free throws coming. Michaela Elmore's first personal foul, and Paris Clark to the stripe.
Virginia hasn't shot a lot of free throws, and that is, I guess, credit to Clemson's defense to defend without fouling, but also maybe needing to put more pressure on the defense and get some more things either on the block or guard penetration.
Whitehorn wide open in transition. Virginia, little lapse defensively there. Just seems like every time Virginia is able to get it close, Clemson has an answer right now.
Yeah, just some breakdowns that they can't afford to have.
Clark into a sea of red jerseys. Nguyen ends up with it. Kick to the corner. Smith for three. Nguyen fighting for the rebound. It's kicked out once again. Here's Johnson to set it up.
I love Virginia showing their own activity on the offensive glass.
What a spin in the paint for Kamora Johnson. Everything but the finish. And another offensive rebound. Ball loose on the floor, picked up by Elmore. Shot clock is off. 5 seconds to play in the third quarter. Got to get a shot off here. Whitehorn hoists one. Nearly goes in. Oh, 10point.com. We start the fourth quarter. Jasmine Thomas, Sam Ravitch on hand with you. A 10-point lead for the Clemson Tigers as Pauly travels there. And you look at our game summary here. Every time Virginia's been able to get it close, Clemson has had an answer. And you see at the bottom of that graphic there, Clemson out-rebounding UVA, the 11th best rebounding team in the country, Virginia. It's a -10 differential right now for the Hoos.
Yeah, and Clemson has a bunch of different people contributing, whether it's somebody coming in and hitting a three, or, you know, getting a rebound, getting a stop, or, you know, obviously Harris and Robinson are doing a lot for them. But, you know, for Virginia, Johnson and Brunelle have 31 points, and the rest of the team has 13. So some way, somehow, they have to find a way to share that and play together and get everybody involved and contributing a little more.
Kramer for three, way too strong, and into the hands of Brunelle. Johnson looking to push. 3-on-2. Pull up from the logo. And Johnson hits the two. Kamora Johnson now at 21 points here in this game. She's averaging 14.5 on the season, but this is just kind of a regular occurrence. Over the last 5 games, she's averaging 23.
Yeah, she's definitely a terrific scorer. Can rattle them off in bunches. You feel comfortable when the ball's in her hand. She makes great decisions with it.
It's now back-to-back turnovers on that offensive end for Clemson, so that was kind of what kept Virginia in the game in the first quarter.
The good thing about it is it's a dead ball turnover. At least you can get your defense set when it's a dead ball turnover and have an opportunity to get a stop and be matched up.
Johnson one-on-one with Whitehorn, count the basket and the foul.
And I like this. The floor is a lot more spread open now. And again, Kamora Johnson just finding the seams of that Clemson defense with a lengthy Whitehorn. Whitehorn is a great defender. She has some length to her. That's a tough finish.
Kamora Johnson has her 5th 20-plus point game this season now. UVA has cut the lead down to 5. Elmore shot way off the mark. Harris Clark with the rebound.
And if you notice, Virginia's in a zone of their own right now.
Pauly hits the 3. And UVA trails by 2 at home, and a timeout coming for Amanda Butler and Clemson.
Virginia got themselves back in the game, and here you see Paris Clark passes it up to her teammate, who drains the 3.
You ever feel like the only place you can...
What was said at the break, Jazz, but whatever it was worked for UVA on an 8-0 run to start the 4th quarter.
Absolutely. You're seeing these offensive clips. You're seeing Kamora Johnson continuing on her scoring tear. You see Pauly hit her first field goal of the game with a 3-pointer. But what you don't see is the defense. And I think that's what was said in those timeouts and at the break, is that they need to pick it up on the defensive end and string together some stops. That's exactly what Virginia did, and they saw that defense lead to offense.
Historically, this matchup has been controlled by the Hoos, but recently it's been all Tigers. Clemson has won 3 straight in this series, including a 10-point win in Littlejohn Coliseum last year. It is a 2-point basketball game now with 8 minutes to go in the 4th. Day Harris around 2 defenders all the way to the rim, misses the layup, loose ball picked up by Johnson. 3-on-3, Johnson. Into Pauly in the corner, thought about it. Brunelle, wide open, off the heel. Oh, that's dangerous though, Jazz.
It is. Brunelle has been able to get loose all night on the Clemson defense, and they get lucky right there that she doesn't hit that one.
She's already made 4 in this game. See what Clemson does on this end now. They've turned it over a couple of times here in the 4th, and there's another one. Pauly, transition 3. Pound it! Katie Pauly with a couple of huge triples in the 4th quarter has given Virginia the lead.
Those are huge baskets by Pauly.
UVA started the game 2 for 9 from beyond the arc. They are 6 for 11 since that start from deep. And how about that? An 11-0 run to start the 4th quarter, Jazz. It looks like a new team out there.
Yeah, Clemson loose with the ball, turning it over. Kamora gets downhill and just finds her hot 3-point shooter on the wing for another triple.
Well, Katie Pauly actually had a really good game the last time these two met. Whitehorn with the jumper, that's good. Ruby Whitehorn's been a bit quiet today for Clemson, just a total of 6 points, now 8. Brunelle, 5 threes for Sam Brunelle.
And this Virginia team is fired up, as they should be.
two. What a comeback. Now can they hold on? Dayshanette Harris. There's a good hedge by Nguyen. Gets her all the way out near half court. Off-balance shot and a late whistle. A late whistle will send Dayshanette Harris to the free throw line.
And that's just a tough break right there. They did everything right. They executed the game plan. Virginia worked on and shoot around, trapping Day Harris, and just get her with a late hit, send her to the line.
All right, here's Wednesday night's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader, Louisville and Syracuse. Start us off 7 Eastern time, then Kyle Filipowski, number 7 Duke, hosting Notre Dame at Cameron Indoor. Harris ties it back up at the line, 58-58 with 6 minutes to play. Harris now has 20 points in the game. Johnson. No good. Nguyen with the offensive board. Nguyen off the glass, and she gets fouled. She'll head to the line for 2.
Nguyen, just a freshman. She has had a tremendous impact lately in these games where they've been down in numbers without Cam Taylor. She has a few offensive rebounds today, and here you see her with another one to get herself to the line.
Nguyen, a freshman out of Sweden, makes the first, and again, certainly worth mentioning that Virginia is without Cam Taylor in this game, their second leading scorer and their leading rebounder. So they are without 14 points a game and just about 6 rebounds a game. There you see Cam on the bench right now, cheering on her team with a 2-point lead at home.
Clemson has not gotten Amari Robinson that involved in this half, and I would like to think that that should be something they should look to do.
I don't have the number on me, Jazz, but I think Dayshanette Harris has drawn, what is it, got to be north of 10 fouls in this game, easy.
Easily. She drew 8 in the first half alone, and for sure she's drawn more than 2 in the second half already.
Dayshanette Harris back to the free throw line. She has taken now 14 attempts. And she is now 10 for 14 from the stripe this afternoon. Makes the back end of the 2 free throws, and it's a 1-point game now. Kamora Johnson, the leading scorer for UVA, 24 points. Sam Brunelle has 15. Here's Brunelle dumping one down. Nguyen out to Pauly. Fakes the 3. Now lets it fly. Off to the right.
I wanted that one to fall for Pauly, just for the simple fact that that was a nice, smooth little sidestep, 1 dribble. She's got 2 already.
Here's Whitehorn. Timeout for Coach Butler there, and the shot clock was winding down. A quick 30-second timeout. We will step aside. We've got a great one here this afternoon. Virginia with a 1-point lead. And we're back. Welcome back, John Paul Jones Arena. It is a 1-point basketball game between UVA and Clemson. Alongside Jasmine Thomas, I'm Sam Ravitch. Under 5 to play here. Clemson and Coach Butler just calling a timeout, so they will take it out underneath.
You see Johnson forcing Harris, shading that right hand, trying to get her to go left, but she still finds a way to get to that right hand, pulls up Amari Robinson, active on the offensive glass, can't hold on to it. Harris gets it up ahead to Johnson, who dribbles it off of her foot, just loses it out of bounds, and the ball will go back to Clemson.
Well, I'll tell you what, we were talking to Coach Mox before this one about the atmosphere they just played in on Thursday against Virginia Tech, and she said she has, the utmost respect for what Coach Kenny Brooks has built there. I got to be honest, Jazz, what Coach Mox has built in a short time here is almost second to none. I mean, it has been impressive as Clemson retakes the lead, 15 points now for Amari Robinson.
It is really special. She's done a great job, and I'm a huge fan. You know, we went to the same high school. Both played for Coach Fred Priester. That's our guy, and I'm just so proud of what she's been able to build here as Sam Brunelle hits another three-pointer. They call it a two? She's going to regret that one when she watches the film. Got that toe on the line.
17 now for the graduate student, Sam Brunelle, and Virginia native. Robinson off the glass. Ooh, what a difficult shot for Amari.
And there you see back-to-back buckets by Amari Robinson from Clemson. Something in that timeout was said by Coach Butler that they need to feed their go-to player, and they absolutely do.
Johnson fakes the three, puts it on the deck, and lost the handle. Rare turnover for Johnson in this game. She's had a great one with 6 assists, too.
She has. She saw the parting of the seas, similar to the last one. She saw just no one in front of her in that transition bucket, dribbled it off her foot. This time it opened up. She knew she had a layup and just lost it.
Robinson, a wide open lane, lays it up with the left and gets fouled. So Robinson back to the stripe. Clemson with a 1-point lead. First foul on Sam Brunelle.
I love the adjustment by Coach Butler and Clemson to get Amari Robinson the ball around the ACC and that high post area, as opposed to earlier when you saw them turn it over a few times trying to get it to her on the block. She has more space, more options, and everyone else can spread out around her.
Robinson, 83% free throw shooter. She's 2 for 2 at the line today. Free throws are going to play a huge factor in this down the stretch, although neither team in the bonus just yet. All right, nothing but net. Saturday night, 8:30 Eastern time, our men's basketball matchup. They'll break down the night that was in the ACC, highlights and analysis of every game, and then a look ahead of the best matchups on the schedule in the coming week. That's coverage you can only find one place, right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Backed up to a three-point advantage here, Brunelle. From the free throw line, gives a little shrug after that. Everything's falling right now for Sam Brunelle, who has gone 7 for 11 from the floor today.
It really is. She's getting great looks. Credit to her teammates for finding her, delivering it to her on time, on target. She's just doing a great job in making open shots.
Jazz, this has been a battle between essentially 4 players in this game. And a timeout called by Coach Butler, but you got Johnson and Brunelle for UVA basically going head-to-head with Dayshanette Harris and Amari Robinson.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The battle of the duos right now, and you know both groups are doing a great job at understanding what they need at any given time. Sam Brunelle has time and time again today come up and hit big shots when Virginia needed it most.
The season high, 19 points now for Sam Brunelle. She has hit 5 threes in this game. And the field goals in this fourth quarter, Clemson 3 for 8, Virginia 7 for 10. What's going to be the difference in your mind in this game? What's this going to come down to for both sides?
I think it's going to come down to defense without fouling.
Okay.
I think that is where Clemson has found success, is when they've gotten in trouble, they've been bailed out with a foul and gotten to the free throw line. So if Virginia can defend without fouling and continue scoring the ball with better shot selection as they have done in this fourth quarter, it'll help them. And Clemson just can't turn it over. Keep getting the ball to Amari Robinson right now. She's their hot hand.
Dayshanette Harris will pull up from 3. And follows up her own miss. No good, though, on the follow. Whitehorn blocked from behind by Clark. Whitehorn short on that. Second chance opportunity. It's going to stay with Clemson.
And I guess I should have mentioned rebounding, because we know that this whole game, Clemson has done a great job on the boards, and they've done a great job on the offensive board. So Virginia's going to have to box out and get bodies and limit them to 1 shot.
Robinson certainly capable of shooting the 3, but Kramer's a little bit better. Mackenzie Kramer drills the triple, and she's got 9 now. Second 3 of the game for the transfer out of Lehigh.
I think we saw a little finger to the lip, quiet the crowd.
Kramer does not shy away from the moment. a foul by Elmore on Clarkson there, right above the arc.
Amari Robinson, who's had the hot hand here in the fourth quarter, just gives up her opportunity for a better shot from Kramer, who quiets the crowd as she knocks down the three. She's a great three-point shooter for this Clemson squad.
And she gets a steal. And you mentioned it, Jazz, the turnovers, and that gives it right back to Clemson with a 4-point lead and under 2 minutes to play in the game.
And Clemson is an experienced team. They're going to manage this clock. They're going to make good decisions.
Harris falls down, gets it to Kramer. Sidestep for three. Oh! Mackenzie Kramer trying to put this game on ice. And a timeout for Coach Mox and UVA. Back-to-back triples for Mackenzie Kramer. Well, that's what shooters can do for you, Jazz.
They can. And that's a tough break for Virginia, who's done some great things in this quarter. They still have themselves in a decent position in this game, but from a momentum standpoint, all the momentum is on Clemson right now.
Well, Mackenzie Kramer led the Patriot League last year with 76 made threes. And she's already got 3 in this game, 44 on the year.
Yeah, and she can shoot them any kind of way. There you see her coming off the off-ball screens, getting open. Here you see her off the dribble, just with a little shot fake, sidestep, knocks it down. She's a great scorer and a great, great shooter.
It's a 7-point lead now for the Tigers, and Virginia's got some fouls to give here too, Jazz. I kind of wonder at what point they might try to start fouling, but we got to score on this end first. Johnson.
They do, and they need to get a quality basket, but also just get something quick kind of going to the rim so that they can get a stop and get a, I like that decision. I love that decision by Sam Brunelle. Get something quick going to the rim. It's a great high percentage basket. She's been lighting it up from outside, but I love the decision to put it on the floor.
Extends her season high to now 21 points for Brunelle. Back to a 5-point game, but now we're under a minute to play here.
If I were Harris's teammates, I would let her know she's on the island, no ball screen coming. Keep Harris on that left side. Because she's letting her go middle right now. She has her hips turned to let Harris go to her right hand.
I went out of bounds, and I think we may take a look at this. Our officials will looking like they're going to go to the monitor to check. Our officiating crew, Bruce Morris, Ryan Durham, and Alexis Perez.
Out-of-bounds call is under review.
Alexis coming over, just letting us know they are indeed going to go to the monitor and take a look at this to see who the ball was last touched by. Dayshanette Harris lost the ball in midair. Let's see who touches it last. Yeah, it's a tough angle to look at there. Let's see, this will be better.
I think that'll be an easy one to overturn. I think they just get a better look at it on the monitor versus in real time.
The call on the floor was it's Clemson basketball. So the officials will need clear and conclusive evidence to overturn that call. It was a quick review. Let's see what they come up with. And indeed, it will be Virginia basketball. So the call overturned.
Call on the floor is reversed, Virginia ball.
These fans behind us, they were going to let them know about it.
They sure were. All right, so if you're Virginia, what's the play here, Jazz? 47.3 left, and you're down by 5, and you got the basketball.
I would put Johnson and Brunelle in action. See what the defense does, get them to maybe mess up, make a mistake.
Brunelle, quick trigger. Oh! Brunelle hits the 3. It's a 2-point game. And now there is no need to foul.
Again, Paris Clark letting Harris go right.
Harris, oh, count the basket. And the foul. Dayshanette Harris with some hard contact once again. going into a sea of UVA jerseys, somehow converts.
I mean, she's done it all day.
Oh, my
Sam.
goodness.
She is just tough to guard when she gets downhill with a full head of steam going right.
Wow.
The help just doesn't come over. And, you know, that was a perfect opportunity to take a charge. Come over, get your feet set. But they don't do it. She's able to get an and one.
When Clemson has needed a basket, they have been able to go to Dayshanette Harris. Yeah, that's Nguyen's 5th foul, so she will head to the bench. But Dayshanette Harris at the free throw line.
You know, I had mentioned her being on triple-double watch. And she, right now, has 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists.
Pretty special. And she's 11 for 15 at the line, misses it, and Ruby Whitehorn coming in for the rebound, and she gets fouled. That is the 15th offensive rebound for Clemson. That marks a season high, Jazz, and it might be the difference in the game.
It definitely might be the difference in the game. You can't let this happen if you're UVA. Free throw box outs are so important. They are a significant part of the game. And you see Coach Mox disappointed in her team, knowing that that is something that's a ball they should have came up with. But credit to Ruby Whitehorn. She's had a somewhat of an off offensive night, but stays locked into the game enough to come up with that rebound.
And also a career high, 9 rebounds for Ruby Whitehorn. I mean, none bigger than the 9th. Short on the second one. Johnson calling for timeout, and they get it. But got a 2-possession basketball game here. 16.6 left to go. Man, I mean, you just go back to that last kind of sequence there with Dayshanette Harris going to the free throw line. The and one, that's got to be her 5th and one of the game. 74-69. 1 foul to give if you're Clemson. Virginia's got no fouls to give, but they got to score some baskets first here.
You know, if I'm Clemson, I think I take that foul.
Yep.
I absolutely do. You know, you got to look and see what kind of formation. Obviously, Virginia can kind of try to get a shot off the pass from the inbound, and then it's a little riskier to try to foul in that scenario. But if they get it in and try to dribble into an action, I would definitely take that foul.
I will say this, though, Jazz, it has been an excellent environment here inside John Paul Jones Arena, and also getting to celebrate Play for K. And for a bigger, greater cause, this has been a tremendous atmosphere to get to do that. And it has certainly been special.
Absolutely, Sam. I couldn't agree more.
All right, so Katie Pauley will take it out. Into Kamora Johnson, nearly taken away by Whitehorn. Brunelle trying to get free, quick shot, that misses everything. Out of bounds. And it will be Clemson basketball, and that might do it.
It might, and I'm sure that the play was drawn up for them to get a 3, but with how tight the defense was on Brunelle, she probably could have driven past the defense and at least got a better shot attempt, because they know they're going to foul real quick.
You know, I don't put much stock into this usually, Jazz, but 26 free throws for Clemson in this game, and Virginia's taken 9. Now, obviously, some of that has got to be attributed to the way that Clemson has played with Dayshanette Harris driving to the rim, but you know, Kamora Johnson and Paris Clark have done the same as well, but that's a pretty big disparity in free throws.
It is, and you know, of course, some of that goes on the ref's judgment. What they see is like valid contact to be able to call a foul, but you also have to look at the three-point shooting. Like Virginia, they're 10 of 24 from the 3, so settling for some outside shots that they've been hitting. So, you know, it makes sense a little bit there, but also it's just when you look at how Day Harris drives and gets in the paint and just really is physical and absorbs the contact the whole way, it's a lot easier to call that foul.
Virginia's 10 made threes today are the 4th most in a single game this season. Two-possession basketball game, under 11 to go.
I think if you're Virginia, you probably switch a lot here. Go for steal first if you can come up with something. And then foul quick, but it's going to be tough right now.
Inbounds to Kramer, and a foul coming. We go to the free throw line, and Kramer
is 100% from the free throw line on the season.
Yeah. Did you just jinx her, Jazz?
I just
that's the announcer jinx.
The point of that was not to jinx. The point of that was you kind of want to dictate who gets the ball in that scenario.
Fair.
Who you want to shoot these free throws right now.
Yeah, and she has been great.
Yeah.
23 of 23 on the season, and she's also been shooting it great from 3 today.
Yeah, I don't believe in the jinx unless it's me.
Okay.
When it's me shooting the free throws and I miss it, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
She got the one they needed.
23 of 24 on the year for Kramer. Brunelle open for 3. Out of bounds, and a foul actually called before the ball went out. 1.7 left to go. But how about the Clemson Tigers here, who have struggled a lot going on the road this year? 0-6 coming into this game in road games. And they put up a fight. This was a physical game.
Yeah, and that's credit to their players, but also credit to Coach Butler. She talked a lot about focusing on them, not worrying about the opponent and who they're playing, but just focus on their growth and progress. And they did a great job today.
And that is your final. Clemson 75, UVA 69. Clemson improves to 4-7 on the year in ACC play, and Virginia drops to 2-9. Three-point shooting for Clemson.